Hey guys, want to do a video on the slow season. This is a pretty common question that I get asked: is when is tankers slow? Just got asked it today. First of all, hi Brandon. Somebody who watches my videos came to Prime and is now doing Decatur Dedicated. So pretty cool. Appreciate that. Special thanks to Brandon. That's really awesome. Hope you guys continue to get a lot out of these videos. If you do want to come to Prime, if you want to do Decatur Dedicated, if you want to do over the road, if you want to do reefer, if you feel like you're getting something out of these videos, go in the description. There's a link. You don't have to go search the web. How do I apply to Prime? All that good stuff. There's just a link. You can click on that, send you directly to the application, and you can apply to Prime Inc. But slow season. Everybody worries, well, if I go into this division, I'm going to get slow season. I'm not going to make any money. If I go into this division, I'm going to get slow season. What division doesn't have slow season? Anything you do is going to have slow season. There are careers, there are jobs where, and obviously if you are a salaried employee, you are going to get a constant paycheck. Trucking is not that career. If that's what you're looking for, move along. I'm going to start with that. If you're looking for, I make the same amount every week or every 2 weeks or every month, this is not for you. And that's not to denigrate trucking. It is what it is. You make money by moving the wheels, delivering the product from point A to point B, whether that product is soybean oil, which is what I have right now. I'm at a facility where they are pumping. So they're taking care of that right now as I record this video. Or whether it's refrigerated food product like our reefer division does, whether it's construction equipment that might be being hauled on one of our flatbed division trucks, whether it's just about anything, widgets that are hauled in the back of a dry van, whether it's cars that are going on a car hauler, you name it, there's going to be a slow season. You name it, there's going to be a time of year when not a lot's going on compared to the busy season. You also only get paid when you're moving. There are exceptions to that with some local jobs, obviously, where you do get paid hourly, but I'm talking about mainly over-the-road jobs, mainly dedicated jobs. But true local jobs, yes, you can find some hourly jobs. But for the most part, when you're looking to get your start in trucking, you're going to be starting with an over-the-road company, and they're going to pay you either by the mile, as Prime does for company drivers, or they're going to pay you a percentage of the load. And that's what lease drivers at Prime get, is 70, 71, 72%, depending on the division, depending on what you're doing. But slow season, as it refers to tanker, is generally after New Year's. And it can last a couple of months, 3 months, up to 4 months. But the bottom line is you're not going to get away from a slow season. So the question then becomes either how do you deal with the slow season, or how long is the slow season, and when is it going to pick up? Generally after the holidays is going to be a slow season for most of the trucking industry. Obviously, basically if you follow the U.S. economy, what does the U.S. economy do? We ramp up, we buy a bunch of stuff for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Easter's not a big, I mean, yeah, there's chocolate and whatnot that folks purchase, but a lot of the stuff is done leading up to that. And then the U.S. economy doesn't do as much in January, February. Manufacturing doesn't do as much January, February, and into March. So if the U.S. economy isn't doing a whole heck of a lot, then there's not going to be a lot of product to move around the country. External to the U.S. economy, and maybe that's not even external to the U.S. economy, but things like the presidential election can affect the U.S. economy. People's mood about the U.S. economy affects trucking. So this is an industry that you have to be aware of. It's not just My initial impression was always, well, we're hauling food grade product, hauling to bakeries, hauling to places that manufacture things that people generally buy year round. And a lot of the refrigerated division does the same thing. They'll go to a meat packing plant or a Tyson chicken plant or things along those lines. And that's to some extent, obviously, people buying more meat, turkeys and whatnot for the holidays. So you would think it would not necessarily be as seasonal, but there is a slowdown in that division as well. When you're going to a bakery that makes basic loaves of bread, people buy loaves of bread year round. You would not think that there would be a slowdown, but there is. Milk, if you decide to get into milk hauling, you would think, well, why is there going to be a slowdown? The cows are going to produce the milk at the same rate. People buy milk it is what it is. So the answer to the basic question is, yes, there is a slowdown at Prime Tanker. It does come after the new year, and it can last anywhere from, if it's a great year, the economy's booming, maybe it's a little bit slower, maybe it's a month and a half. If this last year things were a little more prolonged, it was closer to 2.5 to 3 months. And when I say slowdown, and this is the flip side of the question, well, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm not going to make any money at all for 3 months? I'm going to be negative every week? Well, no, obviously not. People would not do trucking if you made $0 or negative $1,000 every week for 2-3 months out of the year or a month out of the year. There's enough freight during the slow time to sustain, which then turns a little bit of the pressure back on the driver. You need to be able to plan for the fact that, okay, last week I had a $1,900 check. Should I go out and spend $1,900? Obviously I need to put money away for taxes. But let's say I say, you know what, I'm going to skip this week. I'm not going to put money away for taxes. I'm going to go spend $1,900 this week because times are good. I'm well over my weekly average. Well, if you're smart, you plan for the fact that maybe you're only going to make $700 in one of those weeks during the slow period. And I'm not saying you can't have a good week at all during a slow time. It's just that there are slow times, so you have to plan ahead. So it puts a little bit more of an onus on budgeting. But that's more of a life lesson than it is a trucking lesson. So there you go, slow times. When is it? What does it mean in the trucking industry and Prime Tanker specifically? Yes, things do slow down. They slow down in every division, every sort of facet of the trucking industry. You're not going to get away from it unless you find one of those local hourly type jobs. But that's what it is. A lot of the over-the-road stuff, to some extent, is seasonal. It will have some sort of down period. And again, down period being relative. You might have a bad week. You might go in the hole 1 week, but you're certainly not going to spend 2 months with negative consecutive paychecks. At least that's been my experience in talking with other drivers as well. That's not just my personal experience. Things can slow down, but they don't dry up completely. So there's slowdowns. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you continue to enjoy these. Thanks for watching, and talk to you next week. Again, click in the link in the description if you're looking to come to Prime. Sends you right to the application. Thanks again for watching this week.